All right, so we're back. So let's get into this story right here. Sorry about that. Had to fix a few things. Let's get into it. Hard Talk Radio, live in 4K, fair use. Going to be talking about the Shabbat Jews getting arrested for having a secret underground tunnel in New York City. Wow! Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're coming out through the sewer underground tunnel. Oh, they're coming out through the floor graters. Oh, oh.
Yo. It's not gonna help. They try to. Back up. Sitting outside.
It's wild, man. It's wild. Let's get deeper into the story, though, shall we? Okay, wild scene broke out on Monday at a synagogue in Brooklyn after construction workers arrived to fill in a tunnel illegally dug into the earth. Young Orthodox Jewishmen climbed into the path to block its closure. 10 people were arrested, local media reported, when the New York Police Department was called to quell the uprising, with video cameras rolling to capture the chaos. Cops clashed with the community. The rabbi who runs the synagogue, Yosef Braun, said the actions of the men were horrid and a disgrace to the holy site. The dispute is believed to stem from a decades-long schism within Chabad, one of the largest groups of Hasidic Jews in the world, which pitches the Chabad Lubavitch movement against the synagogue leadership. The two sides apparently disagree over who legally owns the 100-year-old house, which also serves as the world headquarters of the Chabad Lubavitch. We're going to get into how is Trump connected to this. Okay. Members of the Chabad Lubavitch have been digging tunnels under the synagogue at 770 Eastern Parkway in the Crown Heights neighborhood of Brooklyn for many months. The purpose of the tunnel is unclear. The website for.com reported it was designed to reach an abandoned woman's mikvah, or ritual baths. The website said the tunnel had been dug to expand the synagogue, although it was unclear how it would do so. The tunnels were discovered in December, and the synagogue's leaders called in structural engineers to assess the damage. On Monday, cement mixers arrived to fill the tunnels in, and the young Orthodox men reacted with fury, many of them ripping away the wooden walls, hiding the entrance to the secret tunnels, and running into them to prevent them being filled. Video shared on social media showed dozens of NYPD officers attending the site and trying to push the irate young men back from the entrance to the tunnel. Some of the men attempted to charge back through the tunnels as a large crowd jeers the police. Outside the synagogue, NYPD officers held the men back. One man challenges the NYPD officer who replies, "We don't do that in America." Hasidic News said COL Live report many of the young men were from Israel. After several hours, NYPD officers were seen bringing handcuffed men out from the tunnels. Videos also showed at least one community member using the tunnels to reach the sidewalk outside the building. NYPD spokesman told the dailymail.com on Monday, January 8th, 2024, at approximately 15:30 hours, police responded to 9/11 calls of a disorderly group outside of the 770 Eastern Parkway within our confines of the 71st Precinct. Upon arrival, officers were informed that a group of individuals unlawfully entered the 770 Eastern Parkway by damaging a wall. This time it is known that a number of individuals were taken into custody. Charges are pending. No injuries were reported as a result of the incident. Braun, the rabbi of the synagogue, condemned the young men. He said they arrived at the site ready to destroy and deface the holy walls and urged other members of his community to call them out in all possible ways in strong terms. Braun said he was horrified that they vandalized the shul, or the synagogue. He said to demolish and destroy shul, never mind the dangerous aspect, never mind the religious aspect. It's mind-boggling. Braun said the actions of the young men was painful for his community. They need to be put in their place in so many meanings of the word, he concluded. All right. But let's get into Trump's connections. All right. To the Shabbat. All right. Here we go. Fair use.
Also would like for you to understand that President is a huge part of a Chabad organization. He is part of the entire cult that's called Chabad. And I say cult because it is a mega cult that took over the world. In my eyes, they are the head of the snake. And why do I say that? There is a group of Jews in Israel, in New York, and all parts of the world that disagree with Zionism. Did you know that? They're Jewish rabbis. They're still part of Judaism. I will explain to you why Judaism is not a correct religion. And Judaism has nothing to do with Christianity. We will talk about this. But those rabbis are still Judaic. They believe in Talmud. They embrace Talmud. They embrace Zohar. But they're against Zionism. They don't believe that Jews should be in the land of Israel right now. They are pro-Palestinian. They want equal rights for Palestine.
Talmud and the Zohar are still evil books, perverted and wicked evil books.
Palestinians. You just don't hear about those people because the media will never show them. And when they are in front of the presidential building protesting, they never show it. They never show it. But there are people who are Jews who dislike Zionism, and they say it's actually against Judaism. Chabad is a specific cult or branch of Judaism that was started by Russian rabbis, and you might be familiar with Rabbi Schneerson. Okay, he is the historical figure. He died in 1994, I think, but he's the one who kind of put in motion the whole Chabad organization and spread of it and proselyting of it all over the world. And they have put Chabad, they have put their feet in almost every government of the world. And they are the ones who want Noahide laws for the Gentiles. Now, the rabbis who are against Zionism also study Talmud, and they know about Noahide laws because they're Talmudic. They're not out of Bible, they're Talmudic laws, okay? But they do not believe that they should be forced on us right now, that the Jews should be taking this into their own hands. They wait on the Messiah, and they think Messiah is the one who is gonna do it. I still disagree with that part of Judaism, but I would just want you to know that Chabad is a specific cult that I call radical, very radical. Like you heard of radical Muslims. These are very radical Judaics, okay? And it is a cult. It is a criminal cult, very criminal organization that is involved in sex trafficking, organ trafficking, money laundering, and all kinds of sins and crimes you can ever imagine. And I want you to know that our president is part of this. As good as he sounds and as everybody wants to be, pro-Trump, just please understand, behind him is Kushner and Ivanka. Did you ever vote for Kushner or Ivanka? No. Okay, who immediately came as his advisor was his own son-in-law. They're part of Chabad cult, okay? They went, before he was elected, they went to pray to Schneerson, to his grave, so President Trump can win the election. This is called necromancy. They did not pray to Almighty God. They prayed to the dead rabbi. Okay? So I want you to know the powers that are behind Trump. And when we talk about politics, Democrats, as I said, is a secular form of Judaism. It's communism. That's part of Jewish movement. The far-right Republicans are part of Chabad. Chabad is also in Russia and China now, and practically every government of the world, and they're all connected together. When American government speaks of your enemies as Iran, Russia, and China as enemies, it's not true. It's not true. They're not our enemies. You need to understand, because Putin, Trump, and China are all connected through Chabad. Okay? So if you understand these basics, then you see who we are really fighting. We are fighting the enemy, and there is a Hegelian dialectic in place. It's a part of divide and conquer strategy. Meaning, they're going to divide you. You hate each other. You fight each other so they can conquer your nation. That's basically what's going on. And
it's basically what's happening now. Okay. You see what's going on with Republican, Democrat, people fighting. You vote for Trump, you vote for Biden. People are actually getting divorced. You're throwing away your marriage. One older lady threw away years of her marriage because her husband voted for Trump. Okay? And it's going to be leading to people actually coming at each other's throats. And then the government will come in with their new world order, which is happening now. All right? People are going to be looking for peace so desperate, and they're putting things in place to make it so.
Chabad is at the head of it all.
Okay. So, all right. All right. I'll go a little bit more. All right. So I can't go any further with that. we're going to go into now what has been shown about Trump, okay, when it comes to the Epstein situation. Now, we're going to go into that. All right. Let's go.
And this is Trump and Jeffrey E. Epstein. And this is a complaint for claim
Fair use.
relief due to number one, sexual abuse under threat of harm, and number two, conspiracy to deprive civil rights. Now, I got hold of this because I want to give a shout out to the Jeffrey E. Epstein. Each reside in the state of New York. Here are the factual allegations. The plaintiff, Katie Johnson, alleges that defendants Donald J. Trump and Jeffrey E. Epstein did willfully and with extreme malice violate her civil rights under 18 U.S.C. 2241 by sexually and physically abusing plaintiff Johnson by forcing her to engage in various perverted and depraved sex acts by threatening physical harm to plaintiff Johnson and also to her family. Yikes. The plaintiff, Katie Johnson, alleges that the defendants Donald J. Trump and Jeffrey E. Epstein did willfully and with extreme malice violate her civil rights under Section 42 U.S.C. 1985 by conspiring to deny plaintiff Johnson her civil rights by making her their sex slave. Wow. The plaintiff, Katie Johnson, alleges that she was the subject to extreme sexual and physical abuse by the defendants Donald J. Trump and Jeffrey E. Epstein, including forcible rape during a 4-month time span covering the months of June through September in 1994, when plaintiff Johnson was still only a minor, the age of 13. Let that sink in. The plaintiff, Katie Johnson, alleges she was enticed by promises of money and a modeling career to attend a series of underage sex parties held at the New York City residence of defendant Jeffrey E. Epstein and attended by defendant Donald J. Trump. On the first occasion involving the defendant Donald J. Trump, the plaintiff, Katie Johnson, was forced to manually stimulate defendant Trump, with the use of her hand upon defendant Trump's erect penis till he reached sexual orgasm. On the second occasion involving the defendant Donald J. Trump, the plaintiff, Katie Johnson, was forced to orally copulate defendant Trump by placing her mouth upon defendant Trump's erect penis until he reached sexual orgasm. I think you can see this is going to be a pretty depraved report involving Epstein and Trump. And this is a case that came to the fore when Trump started running for president, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared. And I remind you that when the defendants in these cases, these high-profile cases with these high-powered people are known, it's pretty common that they will receive death threats. And that's probably why, and that's pure conjecture on my part, is that probably why she dropped the case. I don't know. Maybe they paid her off. I doubt that. I bet anything that she is or was in fear for her life. Maybe she still is. But she does have an active website, according to this video report. So I don't think it's something that she made up. If she's got an active website this far down the line, obviously she has something to say here and something to prove, and she has a valid claim. Otherwise, why would she maintain a website? I don't think it's for money, because I don't think she's getting any. So, yeah. All right, so let's take a look at the video report, and then after that, maybe we'll do a little more discussion, or maybe I'll read a little more from this document. Let's just see how it goes with the report.
It's not your grandmother's Christian TV show right now.
Right.
All right, this is real stuff. We're talking to you about what's really happening. But this over which one of the men we're going to take her virginity from her.
innocence.
Now, at this point right now, if you have children in the room, you need to just clear out the room, because this is going to get really graphic at this point. So just hit pause and get your kids away and listen to this later, because there's no way for us to present this without just telling you, letting you hear exactly what she said, and it's graphic. Okay, this is not.
And this is from court documents.
This is not going to be TBN. All right, it's not your normal mom. You know, it's not your grandmother's Christian TV show right now.
Right.
All right, this is real stuff. We're talking to you about what's really happening. But you know, I don't mean to offend. I'm not trying to shock people.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, so this young woman, at the time, she was 13 years old. She came forward in the fall of 2016 with one of these lurid tales of being raped by Donald Trump. And, you know, the attitude among the Trump supporters at that time was, we don't believe any of it.
They're all lying.
The Clinton campaign's bringing out one crazy accusation after another, and we don't believe any of it, and we're not listening to any of it.
You had guys like Michael Avenatti, like poisoning the water for true victims, and maybe Stormy Daniels has a case, but when you interject those kind of characters into it,
Gloria Alfred, yes.
yeah, it just looks like, oh, here goes another.
But look at the people Donald Trump hung around with. Stormy Daniels.
Yes.
That's right. There are
She
pictures
wasn't
with
exactly
President
a
Trump
Girl
and
Scout. I mean,
Daniels.
she wasn't, you know, her reputation there wasn't spectacular.
And we know
And there still has not been a viable explanation for the transfer of money from President Trump's entities to a holding account that Stormy Daniels has now shown. This is court documents. It's a
But
fact
is there
money
a
transfer.
Stormy Daniels connection to Epstein? Do we know that yet?
I haven't found one for Stormy Daniels, no.
Okay. So let's get back to this young woman, Katie Johnson. So she filed a lawsuit in the fall of 2016 saying that Epstein and Trump raped her when she was 13 years old. Most of the news media pretty much
I never heard
ignored
of
it. I don't know if I even remember this at all. And then immediately after the election, she withdrew the lawsuit. And the Daily Mail of London ran this article on November 7, 2016, headline, "Troubled Woman with a History of Drug Use Who Claims She Was Assaulted by Donald Trump at a Jeffrey Epstein sex party at age 13 Made It All Up." So I read the entire story. At no point does the Daily Mail explain or say that she made it up.
Yeah,
it's only in the headline.
They said they got it from a special source, which is not named, which is not characterized, which is very interesting. And then it's not that the lawsuit, because the lawsuit was dropped. Katie Johnson withdrew it, but this was a federal lawsuit. She'd
But
filed
why
this.
did she drop it on the day after the election?
She said she was too afraid to hold a press conference, and she had a series of threats against her life.
And do we see that there is a pattern of threats by Jeffrey Epstein against women?
Oh,
who
absolutely.
Go forward with information?
Absolutely. It's been alleged by the very government prosecuting
so now we are obligated to go back and look at Katie Johnson's accusation against Epstein and Trump in 2016.
And if she wanted this to go away, she wouldn't put up a website that it says Justice for Katie. This is an active website that is
Today?
Of
Yes,
course.
it's called Today.
We called her to
Yeah,
get
I reached out to her.
Yeah.
You did?
Yes, yeah, we haven't heard back from her, but I did everything in my chance to try to get an update on if she's still carrying forward, especially the fact that the Epstein case has been revived.
But the website is active. It has her testimony on it or from her deposition. This hasn't gone away. And if you are a victim, the safest thing to do is get it out in the open.
Yes.
The more that you're in the shadows, the more that something bad could happen.
Yes, be visible. So 1994 is when this happened. According to her, she was
Between June and September.
She was 13 years old, and she said that she was subject to rape, criminal sexual acts, assault, battery, and false imprisonment. So let's go into the nitty-gritty, the really raw details of what she said in 2016 Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein did to her at age 13.
All right, so Katie Johnson, through a man named Jonathan Lohner out of Los Angeles, produced videos. And they masked her voice and her picture. However, the Daily Mail ended up showing a picture of her anyway on that article saying that she dropped the case. She produced a series of video testimonies describing the up to 4 allegations of rape and sexual assault, among intimidation that she'd received. The first one being that Jeffrey Epstein and President Trump basically used her as a passed-around toy in a sexual competition. This first clip, 42 for Control, is Miss Johnson describing, alleging what occurred to her in June through September of 1994.
The first time that I met Donald Trump was at a party at Jeffrey Epstein's mansion. I was 13. Mm-hmm. And he basically asked if I could come over and give him a hand job. And sorry, this is a little difficult, but before I gave him a hand job, he kind of slapped my hand away and said, you need to use a glove. And the recruiter ran over and handed me a glove and said, no one touches Mr. Trump's penis without a glove.
By the way, according to her statement, she said when she was 13, when this happened in 1994, she had no idea who Epstein and Trump were. Right?
Yeah, why would she?
Yeah, at age 13 in 1994. But she said she didn't know who raped her until she saw Donald Trump on The Apprentice TV show. That's when she recognized the rapist.
And to put both of them together.
Now, if there was no connection between Trump and Epstein, I would say, you know.
Yeah.
This is wild. This is
crazy.
unfabricated. It's too crazy.
Donald Trump said, he's on record saying Epstein was a great guy. And he likes women. He just likes them younger than Mr. Trump likes.
He said he had a falling out 15 years ago.
Yes.
Well, where does that put
This was
us?
1994.
Well, they didn't have the falling out then, did they?
That's what, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
That's right.
So they were buddies at that time.
Well, we have pictures of them laughing and hanging
And we
out.
just saw Donald Trump with Robert Maxwell.
Yes.
Ghislaine Maxwell's father.
Yeah, and
again, an Israeli Mossad spy. And who was there? Mike Wallace, a Jewish news journalist at CBS News, who asked the Shah of Iran.
Yes. Oh, yes. I remember that.
Now, Your Majesty, are you really saying the Jews control everything?
He almost stopped the interview there, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He answered defiantly, yes.
That's right. And that may have been John Tower. I'm not sure. It sure looked like Shorty Tower there.
We'll look and see.
If it was, Tower's the guy.
Our control saying it was.
It was
Yeah,
Tower?
Our control room is saying it was.
All right, so Tower's the one that got the Israeli Mossad into our nuclear research labs, according to Gordon Thomas. That's what Gordon Thomas told me.
And I think Seymour Hersh has also reported
And
that, too.
it's in Gideon Spies, the book that Gordon wrote.
Just saw an article about that today.
Well, as you heard with Katie Johnson, she detailed the first of the incidents that she alleges occurred between her, President Trump, and Mr. Epstein. Well,
Second time that I saw Mr. Trump was same scenario. He was onlooking at an orgy, and Tiffany came over to me and said that Donald Trump had requested that I perform oral sex on him. He came in, and I was basically tied to a bed with pantyhose, and he tied him, and they were so tight it hurt to even lay there, and I tried to try to say something, and it was like, you just, shut up, shut up. This is basically like he was being really, really rough, and I started to get scared, and he was, basically like ripping my clothes off, and I was actually I got freaked out. I just turned into this animal. It was like a completely different person. I couldn't do anything about it. And he ripped off all my clothes, and he started to basically have sex with me, and I was screaming because I'd never had sex before. It was my first time. And
All right, that's as far as I go. This is as far as I go. All right. Going to be going into now the article now. Actually, let's see. Yeah, we're going to go into the Epstein article now about Richard Branson, Prince Andrew, as well as Donald Trump being mentioned in these documents. All right. So, Jeffrey Epstein kept blackmail videos that showed Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and Richard Branson having sex with women who he supplied them with, according to the latest bombshell claims in newly unsealed court documents. In the latest dump of papers made public on Monday are emails sent by Epstein victim Sarah Ransom to the DailyMail.com columnist Maureen Callahan in 2016. At the time, Callahan worked for the New York Post and was reporting on Epstein. Ransom claimed in those emails that Trump had sex with many girls, including a friend of hers who is not named, who says she also slept with Bill Clinton and Virgin billionaire Richard Branson. She retracted all her claims, telling Callahan she wanted to walk away from this, citing fears for her family. In 2019, the New Yorker said Ransom admitted to inventing the tapes. It is claimed that Epstein filmed each of the sexual encounters and that the women involved are also obtained copies of the tapes. No such footage has ever been publicly uncovered. The FBI is now under pressure to release hundreds of items of evidence that was photographed during a raid on Epstein's mansion in 2019, but that was never seized. I wonder if they're going to go into Donald Trump relationship with John Casablancas, who ran a modeling agency, and they had a modeling competition, and Trump involvement with John Casablancas. All right. She confided in me about her casual friendship with Donald. Ransom told of the unnamed friend, whose age is not revealed. Ransom claimed to have been sent footage by her that showed her having sex with Clinton, Trump, and Branson, but said she could not share the videos without her friend's consent. Trump denied the allegations through his spokesman. These baseless accusations have been fully retracted because they are simply false and have no merit, Steve Chung, Trump's spokesman, said today. Spokesman for Branson's company, Virgin, also denied the allegations. In a New Yorker report published in 2019, Ransom admitted that she had invented the tapes. We can confirm that Sarah Ransom's claims are baseless and unfounded. Clinton, who was named in other papers last week, has not responded to the fresh claims. His representatives continue to refer to his 2019 denial of any association with the Epsteins. In her claim to Callahan retracting claims, Ransom said, "I want to walk away from this. I should have contacted you, and I'm sorry I wasted your time. It is not worth coming forward, and I will never be heard anyhow, and only bad things will happen as a consequence of me coming public. This will just create pain for my family, and I have already helped me pick up the pieces once before. I can't ask them to do that again." This is wild, man. This is insanely wild. They were included in a filing that was unsealed today, and Alan Dershowitz, Trump's former lawyer, argued why his name and the names of other prominent figures need to remain anonymous. Other files contain previous unseen photos of scantily clad women on the island. Virgin Gerfrey, who sued Ghislaine Maxwell for defamation and claimed she had sex with Prince Andrew, said the names should be made public. Mr. Trump definitely seemed to have a thing for her, and she told me how he kept going on about how he liked her pert nipples. Donald Trump liked flicking her nipples until they were raw. One evening when we were showering together, she showed me her nipples. They looked incredibly painful as they were red and swollen, and I remember wincing when I looked at them. I also know she had sexual relations with Trump at Jeffrey's New York mansion on regular occasions. As I once met Jen for coffee just before she was going to meet Trump and Epstein together at his mansion, the emails claimed. None of the women are named, and Trump has repeatedly denied having any involvement in Epstein's seedy lifestyle. Another batch of documents from the infamous Jeffrey Epstein files have been released. The court has unsealed 17 exhibits on Monday, the latest of the stream of papers to have made public over the last week. The first exhibit filed by Giovanni Gerstner's lawyer against Ghislaine Maxwell claims Maxwell had everyone who worked for Epstein use secret servers to communicate. It's wild, man. It's wild. All right. So let's get into Hillary Clinton, because now she's been exposed in the client list. Let's get into that. A minute here. Yep. 1 second.
Third batch of documents pertaining to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein has just been released. We've been combing through this. Nate Boy has been helping us do so. He's live from our New York City newsroom. What are we learning here, Nate?
Hey, Sandra. So 29 documents were just released in the past hour, over 400 pages. We're going through it as quickly as we can. And once again, names in the Clinton family have come up. So, of course, these names coming out as part of a 2015 defamation lawsuit between Virginia Giuffre, one of the accusers who claims that she was sex trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's confidant. Names that were searched, or at least discussed to be searched through Maxwell's phone as part of that defamation case include Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Prince Andrew. Law.harvard.edu was one of the phrases to be searched through her phone, as well as Alan Dershowitz, the attorney. But the difference today, Hillary Clinton's name coming through, as we have seen former President Bill Clinton's name pop up each of the past 2 days. Another thing to note, Sandra, in one of the documents that was just released, there is essentially a message book that came out. It's handwritten notes for Jeffrey Epstein about who had called him. One of those notes reads, quote, "She had on the phone Mr. Harvey Weinstein." So we'll keep looking into that, as well as the rest, or as for the rest of the documents that we've had the chance to go through to this point. They explain through depositions a lot of the recruiting process for a lot of these young girls, some of them recruited by Virginia Giuffre's ex-boyfriend. Many of the girls described at Epstein's home under the age of 18, some of them from different countries. So right now, with these 29 documents being released, that makes 88 documents that have come out to this point. Giuffre's lawyers tell us that we can expect 240, and that process for those documents to be unsealed could stretch into Monday. But we'll keep going through.
Wow. That is insane, man. That is highly just... Whoa. That is a lot, man. That is a lot with that. I don't know how that's gonna work out for Trump. Okay, I don't know how that's gonna be. How are you going to win the election? You probably will. I am damn sure not for Biden. Let's get that straight. I'm not for Biden. All right, I just see this as something to sit back and see how this will play out. Okay. Newly unsealed files linked pedophile Jeffrey Epstein were released on Friday. While documents have already mentioned Bill Clinton several times, Hillary's name has now popped up for the first time. TGB reports Per the newly released documents, Hillary Clinton was one of those named in a group of people whose names were searched in Ghislaine Maxwell's phone and emails. Specifically, lawyers for Virginia Giuffre were seeking Maxwell's communications with both Clinton and Hillary Clinton. These were new documents as part of the 2015 defamation lawsuit against Virginia Giuffre, who was a victim of sex trafficking ring of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's procurer. Panic was already beginning to set in as Lena revealed thieves broke into Epstein's fixer, Micah Shirk's house over the New Year's holiday and stole his computer servers just hours before a tranche of Epstein documents were unsealed and released to the public. The desperation will only grow as even more of Epstein's dirty laundry is unearthed. Wow. Okay, so that's what I will have for now. And I'll see you on the next one. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. What are your thoughts on the information that has been presented to you? Let me know in the comments. Later.